Hello traders, Douglas here. Today we continue our exploration of the Tradefinder indicator for Bookmap. Now in my first video on the Tradefinder, I told you that this is an excellent indicator to locate swing highs and swing lows. But what happens on a strong trend day when the freight train is just headed in one direction? Well, if you take a look at what happened on the ES today, and this isn't even the bulk of the move. I mean, I stopped recording here around just before 10:30 and it just kept going for the rest of the day, really. But you'll see you got all these white, what are normally buy signals, and they just get run over every time. All right, so if you'd been trying to go long off these signals, you probably would have had a bad day unless you were just short scalping against trend. Like you might have hit a scalp there, you may have probably not hit a small scalp there. So there are reactions to these areas, but it's not giving you the big swing moves that I look for and that I suggest that you look for. And so now is a proper time to define what an indicator is actually doing and how to use it, because I receive this comment actually quite often, and I received it recently, which was, you can't make money with this because these are all false signals. Okay, well, that's only if you improperly define what an indicator does. All right, now if you define an indicator as the Holy Grail, which does not exist in trading, and by Holy Grail I mean you see a signal, you click button, you make money. You see a signal, you click button, you make money. Okay, that's not what an indicator does. An indicator is designed to measure something specific. In this case, we're measuring volume stops. Okay, TTW has a proprietary system to measure that. I don't know the exact formula. They're not going to tell you, of course, but it's measuring a volume anomaly, let's say, a potential stop run, a volume spike, you know, something out of the norm that's happening that could signal a reversal. So that's what it doesn't measure what happens afterwards. So it can't tell you if the market is going to move up or down. All it can tell you is the event happened. And when we know the event happens in the proper context, then we have a higher probability of getting our trade correct. Okay, so it's important to properly define your indicators in that light. All right, so if the market is moving heavily down and just going down, 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 it's your own fault if you keep trying to fight the market and go against it. All right, so the indicator measures market volume stops. That's exactly what it's showing you. It's not the indicator's fault that the market didn't just reverse out of the blue, okay? There's other forces going on, and you have to take that into consideration. So that's a very important thing to note, okay? Don't fight the market, you know, don't catch the falling knife, right? Everybody knows that saying, don't catch the falling knife. So, I mean, as it was, the market still made reactions to these areas. You know, you're not getting the big swings that I'd be looking for, but of course, you know, it hits the volume stops here, it does react a little bit, spikes down here, does react, spikes here, does react, spikes here, you don't get much reaction, a little bit of delayed reaction, and then it just completely runs it over because the market's collapsing at this point. And what happened was, as you see this high band of liquidity here, well, that's at 4,000. Now that's a great big round number, like 4,000, 3,000, 5,000. There's always going to be people playing those levels very heavily. And of course, that's what was happening here. And when it busted, it just fell apart, okay? Not to mention the economy, the way it's been right now, it just seems like the market just wants to go down, even on days when it goes up a little bit. You can pretty much be assured the next day it's going to correct itself and go back down in the current environment, right? It's subject to change immediately, of course, because you can never predict the market exactly. But so what would you do on a day like this? I mean, how would you play this? It's a good question, right? So you had your couple of sell volume stops here. And of course, like I said, you don't just see signal, take take a shot. So you wait for your setup. And so if you had done it there and you had a proper, stop distance, you would have been fine. Or if you see it struggling, it goes 1, 2, 3 times to try to break this level. It doesn't do it, even a 4th time. Then you get this iceberg that comes in. It doesn't hold it up. I mean, there's plenty of areas in here where you could try to take your shot short and at least write it down into this heavy band of liquidity, which indeed is what I did do today. Is I was just targeting this area thinking the market was going to shove down in there. Now, I missed all of the glory days afterwards, so not going to tell you that I made the money that I should have made on a day like today, but that's the way trading goes. And so what else could you have done? Well, TTW has multiple different signals. So you see this hidden order plots here. There's not a huge difference between the buys and the sells, but you do see it gets thicker through here. So that could have been a potential marker for you to go. You also have the dynamic hidden order. You have the volume profile over here of the hidden orders. Now, it's not a coincidence. You see this spike here. If we trace that spike all the way back, well, that's this level right here. So, and that spike came in somewhere in this neighborhood here. All right, so you wouldn't have played it off this. Maybe you would have played these two and got in short somewhere here. But if you didn't and it's coming back here, well, you've got these shorts back here. You've got the fact that it can't break through this level. And then you've got the dynamic profile right here saying that that could be a potential resistance zone. And just to tell you that that's not nonsense, if we come back down here, you get another one right there. See this spike, okay? And it comes right to that spike and moves on down, okay? And then you get one of these fun things. I'm going to show you this just for fun. It did plow right through him, but you've got this hidden order buy ice that had been waiting way back here, and then he gets filled there. And don't know what his game was, if he really wanted to get run over there or not. Maybe he did. But what is something else you could do on a day like today? Well, let's take a look at what happened in the NQ. I like to look at both of these at the same time. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is, good Lord, look at the hidden orders on the NQ. They're all sellers all day. Just thick, thick, thick sellers. All right, so there's no question of what the market makers or in the know or the hedge funds, however you want to define the people that have the ability to place hidden orders, they were all short on the NQ, right? Much easier to read than what's happening over here on the ES. So that could have been a clue. And then also, if you look at the volume stops, there's a lot more signals going on here, but let's trace this. You can see over here on the ES as I trace along with the NQ. So you get these stops here and you come back and that's a little one. Don't know if it would have worked out, but you would come up into that thick amount of stops, goes down on the NQ, goes down on the ES. All right, you get that one, that buy signal comes up. Again, that's just a tiny little guy, but it comes up, hits again, goes down, comes up, hits again, goes down. So there were plenty of other ways to get better signals in the market, different ways to play it. I'll just emphasize one more time that there's no holy grail. There's no just see signal, click button, make money. Otherwise, we would all be rich, right? Right? This is one of the hardest games on the planet for a reason. All right? You're not just trading against some of the smartest people in the world. You're trading against whatever program that they wrote to take your money. Okay? So get real about what trading is and what it takes to try to beat the game, which is what we're all trying to do. And it's a struggle, but we're all in it together. So I hope you take my advice. I hope you don't think that it's criticism. It's just friendly advice. All right, traders, that's it. Peace out.